For as long as I can remember, I have loved going to the movies. There is something so captivating and transformative about film. How a gifted screenwriter can turn incredible ideas into powerful words, summoning drama, humor, and conflict from the page like casting a spell. How an actor who knows their part better than they know themselves can breathe life into those words, creating a character who until that moment only existed on paper, and a performance with the potential to be remembered for generations to come. And how a director with vision and imagination can bind those rare elemental creative forces, fashioning them into a gateway able to draw you into whole other worlds, holding fast to your senses until the closing credits roll, and sometimes, if the job is well done, for far longer. My name is M. Glenn Gore. I'll be your host each week as we explore in depth the newest releases both in the theater and at home. You're watching In Like Glenn, and today we're discussing Black Panther. The following video review contains spoilers for the film Black Panther. Proceed with caution. Black Panther took his first leap from the fertile imaginations of writer-editor Stan Lee and legendary artist Jack Kirby into the comic mainstream in July 1966 by way of an appearance in the pages of Marvel's Fantastic Four number 52. Preceding several noteworthy characters of African descent such as the X-Men Storm, the Avengers Falcon, and Harlem hero-for-hire Luke Cage by years, Black Panther was about as ambitious a character as they came. An adept scientist, accomplished martial artist, and king of a technologically advanced nation hidden from the world, he broke any number of conventions and barriers with his creation, and would continue to do so to this very day. Within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Black Panther appeared first in 2016's Civil War, the third entry in the extraordinary Captain America franchise. Here he witnesses the ruthless assassination of his father T'Chaka, allegedly at the hands of the lethal and efficient Winter Soldier, setting the stage for him to take up the Wakandan crown. Wakanda is a utopia, its unparalleled fortune and technology due in no small part to the wealth of vibranium, a versatile, nigh-indestructible metal coveted the world over the country is built upon. A secret kept for thousands of years, the tiny African nation presents itself to the rest of the planet as an easy-to-dismiss third-world country of shepherds and farmers, a pretense that rests firmly at the heart of the film's central thesis. But we'll get to that. There's something else that needs to be addressed first. Black Panther is the 18th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, releasing 10 years after Iron Man would set off a sprawling, ambitious long game the likes of which few could have imagined and fewer still believed possible, let alone profitable. And while it was the flagship franchise for the MCU, if there is one movie in the opening volley that absolutely had to hit the target, it was Thor. An epic tale of Norse gods, parallel worlds, and science so sophisticated it read to the uninitiated as magic. This one more than any other bore the greatest weight. It had to earn the audience's suspension of disbelief. There is no Avengers without Thor, no Guardians of the Galaxy without Avengers, and no Black Panther without Guardians of the Galaxy. In order for us to believe in the possibility of a world so futuristic and imaginative, the beginnings of that foundation of belief had to be laid nearly from the start. If audiences were able to accept the world Thor presented them with, Marvel would be able to push forward in this grandest of designs with confidence. Everything had to happen in this specific order to bring us to this place, and it's miraculous it did, as one simply cannot deny Black Panther arrives precisely when it is needed most. That said, Thor is still a franchise built on the shoulders of very handsome white males, something Hollywood has never once in its existence feared putting money behind. And if you doubt that, take a moment to remind yourself just how much was riding on Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman. If Wonder Woman had done anything short of demolish the box office in its opening weekend, it would have been fodder for the sickening and contemptuous ongoing fallacy that movies directed by women do not make money, that movies starring women do not make money, that movies about women do not make money. And if anyone understands that particular type of pressure, that burden, it is black filmmakers, black actors, black people. Wonder Woman had to work, and not just work, it had to decimate expectations. A female-led feature featuring a strong female lead?
Failure is not an option.
Damn right, Ed Harris. Likewise, Black Panther had to work. For aspiring filmmakers of color, it had to work. For actors of color scrambling for representation, it had to work. And for audiences of color who are guilty only of wanting to see themselves depicted well on screen, it had to work. And thankfully it does. And not just like a little bit either. Black Panther really works. Deftly helmed by the consummate Ryan Coogler, who gave us the powerful 2013 achievement Fruitvale Station and the ascendant 2015 Rocky Saga Resurgence Creed, Black Panther is a dazzling, Afrocentric tapestry of myriad traditional cultures, resisting, embracing, and at times colliding with their own destiny. One of the most visually stunning movies in the MCU so far, it boasts a world in Wakanda that is as majestic and breathtaking as its cinematic sisterland Asgard. A civilization and a people that are equal parts their own proud past and their hopeful future, existing in unified harmony. Coogler avails himself of every long take, every wide shot, and every backdrop at his disposal until Wakanda itself becomes a character in the telling, one without whom the film could not stand, and he is perfect for the job.
You're goddamn right he is.
Black Panther fearlessly wears its politics, its beliefs, its very heart and soul on its sleeve, daring naysayers wherever they may be to accuse it of whatever social justice, feminist, liberal, hand-holding one world together agenda they may glean from it. And when they do, it stares them directly in the eye and shouts, "Come on!" It weaves its weighty themes into the timely and felicitous narrative, making this one of the select few Marvel movies that actually has something to say, pulling ahead of the good and the great alike until it stands with the exceptional. It is a tale of Shakespearean caliber, the likes of Hamlet and Macbeth, an epic replete with political power struggles, palace intrigue, betrayal, and a literal contest for the throne and the world. Chadwick Boseman of the effective 2017 courtroom drama Marshall and the earnest 2013 Jackie Robinson biopic 42 returns to the role as King T'Challa. Civil War gave us a regal yet formidable take on the character, one of few words and even less levity, a grief-stricken son on a mission of revenge, and while it was a gripping turn, his too brief screen presence in a film already bloated with characters left audiences rightly hungry for more. The Black Panther Boseman and Coogler give us in this outing is explored superbly, imbuing the character with much-needed warmth as well as depth. We see his strength and his doubt. We see his love and his fear for his country, his people, and above all, his family. Burdened with the complexities his rule comes with, sworn to uphold tradition as well as an ethically callous status quo established and maintained by the many generations that preceded him, the same generations responsible for Wakanda's perpetual golden age, Boseman illustrates the shouldering of that weight with poise and humanity. Black Panther reunites director Ryan Coogler with the never unimpressive Michael B. Jordan, who plays Eric Stevens, a US-trained former Special Forces commando turned mercenary known unironically as Killmonger.
It's metaphorical!
With this performance, he hurdles the ever-increasing fold of serviceable yet instantly forgettable Marvel Universe villains like Malekith, Ronan the Accuser, Caecilius, and Guy Pearce, until he stands alongside the likes of fan favorites Loki of Asgard, Ego the Living Planet, and the Vulture. He succeeds as a worthy opponent for Black Panther for the reasons any superior antagonist does. Not by being the hero's antithesis necessarily, but by exposing the myth their heroism is built upon, by revealing and reflecting flaws and limitations they never knew they had, and by driving the hero beyond their breaking point, leaving them no other recourse but to resurrect themselves, to be reborn better. But the thing that most puts Killmonger at the head of the herd is how sympathetic you become to his character. The movie's big pivot point is the revelation that Killmonger is Black Panther's cousin, left behind in America as a child after his father is murdered by King T'Chaka for violating Wakanda's isolationist policies. He arranges the theft of vibranium from Wakanda with the intent of giving it to impoverished and embattled peoples and communities willingly ignored for centuries by his country, and dies for it. The truth of his death is concealed, and Eric is abandoned, fatherless. The hatred born of this knowledge becomes fuel as he grows, pushing Killmonger to literally slay a path back to Wakanda and a fateful confrontation with T'Challa for its throne. Once king, Killmonger means to continue his father's work, but to a twisted, misguided degree, supplying Wakandan arms and technology to the oppressed across the globe, inviting them to wage a war for sovereignty sufficient to engulf the world. It is no surprise that when he claims the crown, Killmonger is woefully unfit to rule. His life has been one of isolation, death, and loss. The road he paved in blood may have led him to the throne, but by the time he arrives, there is little left of him to sit upon it. Jordan's Killmonger brims with an arrogant swagger overcompensating for his cavernous emptiness. Behind his anger lies rejection, a need to finally be seen and heard, in effect to prove he exists at all, and he makes you feel it. He makes you feel it every time he's on screen. Denai Guerrera of The Walking Dead puts in solid work as the skillful Okoye, head of the dauntless Dora Milaje, Wakanda's all-female Special Forces unit and Secret Service, which is exactly as righteous as it sounds. She plays the role straight-laced, but exhibits both heart and humor. She is present for two of the movie's most exciting action set pieces, a casino brawl turned high-speed car chase through Busan that leads to one of the film's best stand-up and cheer moments, and a harrowing Lord of the Rings-inspired final battle that gives us an eager glimpse of what's to come in May's Infinity War. Letitia Wright plays Shuri, T'Challa's little sister and my favorite new character, whose addition to the hallowed and burgeoning pantheon of Disney princesses I sincerely expect and welcome. And I'm not kidding about that either.
Make it so.
There is such affection for the spy movie genre on display in Black Panther, what with its high-tech gadgets, expensive cars, and its globe-trotting to and from exotic locales, one of which is straight out of the taut 2012 James Bond entry Skyfall. And nowhere is this affection more enjoyable than in their scenes together. Shuri is the cue to T'Challa's Bond. Her mechanical genius rivaling Tony Stark's, she designs Wakanda's leading-edge technology and outfits her brother and king with his vibranium suits, as well as his host of state-of-the-art weapons, tools, and vehicles, yet she is never above giving him a little teasing whenever it suits her. Their interactions are a joy to behold, more than once reminding me of my own sisters. Martin Freeman of The Hobbit and The World's End returns as CIA agent Everett Ross, this time getting a much larger slice of the jungle action than he did during his first appearance in Civil War. There are honestly too many fantastic actors playing too many amazing roles in this to do them justice here. There's Lupita Nyong'o's Nakia, the charming and capable Wakandan spy, and T'Challa's former love. Andy Serkis as arms dealer and vibranium thief Ulysses Claw, who is having an absolute blast in the part, most likely because he doesn't have to wear a mocap suit for once. Sterling K. Brown shines as Njobu, T'Challa's uncle. He has only 2 scenes and blindsides you with both. Angela Bassett's Queen Mother Ramonda, Daniel Kaluuya's embittered Wakabe, Winston Duke's thunderous but noble M'Baku. The list goes on, with each actor leaving a lasting impression even when they are only on screen for a handful of moments. Quick tangent incoming. The recent all-female Ghostbusters suffered from a number of issues, but the one that cut me deepest was the conscious decision not to make Leslie Jones' Patty Tolan a scientist alongside her loony but brilliant cohorts. They get to be physicists and engineers, while she gets to be a transit worker, a lazy and insulting creative choice that should have been put down long before it got off the page.
So I don't know if it was a race thing or a lady thing, but I'm mad as hell.
It was a race thing, Leslie. I bring this up because by now you may have noticed the triumphant abundance of incredible female characters running amok in Black Panther. Essential to the storyline each and all, resourceful and resilient in the face of untold odds, and always depicted with the utmost dignity, their skills and talents run the gamut. They are warriors, spies, scientists, and inventors. Hell, one of them is even a queen. They are everything, and it is glorious. To that, the script goes out of its way to shed the generic, often frivolous, surface-deep concerns female characters are too frequently assigned in films. None of them ever frets over their love life, too caught up in winning the attention of a man to be their own person, and the camera only ever frames them with respect, with little regard to or for the male gaze. At no point does a male character leer or say anything untoward, at all points treating these women as the equals they are. Black Panther meets Marvel alum Thor Ragnarok, DC's Wonder Woman, and yes, even The Last Jedi at a shared thematic crossroads. Like the Amazons of the island paradise Themyscira, Wakanda has also sequestered itself from the world, choosing isolation over their responsibility to countries on the outside. And while this has kept both civilizations secret and safe, entire nations have suffered under the heel of tyranny and oppression as they've looked the other way. This has been their way since time immemorial, and both films challenge that tradition's value, asking what a life of privilege and prosperity is worth if it comes at the cost of the well-being of those whom you could help. As in The Last Jedi, the latest chapter in the divisive Star Wars franchise, which is fantastic by the way, shut your mouth, I don't want to hear it. Fledgling villain Kylo Ren sermonizes of the need to kill the past in an effort to rid ourselves of the fallacious dogmas and doctrines long fed to us that have outlived their usefulness. When confronted by Killmonger over Wakanda's complicity in the strife their refusal to aid the world's disenfranchised millions has enabled, T'Challa is forced to reconsider both his ancestors' isolationist rhetoric as well as his late father's now marred legacy, ultimately severing his ties to the past and rejecting the selfish ideology of his forebears. Wakanda's perfection may not be built on the slaughter and subjugation of other worlds the way we discover Asgard's was in Thor Ragnarok, but it does continue to thrive at the expense of others' liberty. Similar to Themyscira in that regard, their knowledge could benefit the world, but a fear of the outside usurping, polluting, and eventually destroying their way of life has stunned them into apathy, as overt a parallel for much of today's discourse as any. Black Panther is many things, but it isn't subtle. For me, Black Panther's strongest idea is in what its hero and villain represent, with T'Challa signifying an Africa that might have been, and the black experience as it could be, while Killmonger, conversely, stands as a representation of what it is to be black in America today. Perhaps most impressive is how Wakanda is both at once. It is literally invisible to the world and not worth its consideration, yet if you look just beneath the surface, you find beauty, poetry, gifted visionaries, leaders, and unique voices hitherto unheard. To be black in America is to widely be dismissed, overlooked, and doubted, yet there is a wellspring of creativity and wisdom to be gained and learned from. Even Wakanda's MacGuffin vibranium serves as a metaphor. as too often we aren't worth anything to anyone until they discover there is something we have that they can use. Now don't get it twisted. Black Panther, for all its many accomplishments, is not without shortcomings. No movie is. Except maybe Point Break. Coogler is new to large-scale, big-budget action sequences, and it shows. He has vision but has yet to master execution. His practical skills are commendable, but he struggles with the film's use of CGI, which often looks subpar. The movie's hand-to-hand fight scenes are strong, but lack the speed and precision delivered by the Captain America franchise's more polished choreography. This in and of itself wouldn't be a problem, except for that Civil War is the first time we are shown Black Panther's aggressive fighting style, and to see it noticeably slowed down here was a minor disappointment.
I don't care.
My biggest complaint is simply that the storyline is often predictable, and less inventive than it should have been for how gifted Coogler is, and for how long it's taken us to get here. The performances, particularly Jordan's, the immersive world the film exists in, and the sheer thematic heft of the narrative do much to distract from the rather by-the-numbers plot structure, but at no time are you wholly unaware of its complete averageness. Clearly, none of this has daunted Black Panther's mass market appeal or box office haul, as it has now earned over $235 million, surpassing Justice League's total domestic intake in only 4 days' time. Obviously, I can't sign off without addressing the armored rhino in the room, and that is Black Panther's searing coda, a withering indictment targeted unapologetically at our current administration and its policies of fear, hatred, and division. A part of me couldn't believe I was seeing it, hearing the words of King T'Challa hew so closely to my own. There has always been more that unites us than divides us. We will always be stronger together than apart. The wise build bridges while the foolish build barriers. And if you don't believe that, or worse, you are somehow repulsed by that notion,
Jog on.
I'm giving Black Panther 4 out of 5 stars. That's it for today's episode. As always, thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter for more updates. Until next time, you were just in like Glenn.